Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 19 of the F1 Agenda podcast. I'm your host, Dan, and today I'm joined by Simon,
Hello.
Jeebus,
Hello.
Geordie,
Hello.
and Lambrex.
Hello.
And today we'll be talking about the 2018 Belgian Grand Prix, and oh boy, what a start.
It was certainly explosive.
Yes, there were many 2012 flashbacks.
I have
Too
seen
many,
that.
too many to be comfortable with it, really.
Yes.
I mean, like, last year we would have lost Charles Leclerc.
Most likely, yes.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
because there's been angles shown that Alonso's tyre looked to be heading towards where Leclerc's head was.
Yeah, I think if you look at Harley's point of like the T-cam from Harley shows how close it was.
I mean, I like, you know, like I literally like flinched myself.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it was terrifying to watch that.
I think.
But I guess this is like finally like all the people who've been hating on the Halo. Like this is like one of the first times it's properly come in.
Well,
like,
I'm afraid just like many things where people are retarded with their opinions, people still are anti-Halo.
Yeah.
Let me just quote Charles Leclerc himself. I may not like the Halo, but today I'm thankful it was there. I saw a video on Reddit of Leclerc like looking at the damage to his car and like the Halo and such, and just like it begins with engineer just like holding onto his shoulder like, I'm just happy you're still here. It's
and there's so much damage on that Halo.
yeah.
The thing is, because it's like, you know, maybe, I mean, the Halo is not in its final iteration, you know, there will be improvements made, I'm sure, in the future, but quite frankly, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
We
Oh.
just lost Jules Bianchi. I'm not sure I could have dealt with losing Charles Leclerc as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Especially in the same week as Robert Wickens is crashing IndyCar.
Well, yeah, but any driver.
Yeah.
We can't afford to lose anybody, and
No.
Formula One is always going to be dangerous, and it still is extremely dangerous, as we saw at the weekend.
Yeah.
But like, you know,
Although to
we should if there's any way that we can eliminate risk, then we should do it.
yeah.
Mm.
I think
Like, I'd rather have the cars looking non-aesthetically pleasing than having someone be killed.
But they don't even look that bad anymore.
Yeah,
No,
like you get used to them.
I was saying like the painted halos, like where it blends in with the car, looks really good.
Exactly.
It's one of the reasons why I don't like how the Mercedes look, because it doesn't integrate the halo. It just keeps the carbon color, which makes it look like they just put it on there and didn't care about it since then.
Mm.
But I'm anxious to move it away from how it looks because, as I say, it doesn't really matter. I can't really like put it
Like-
into words how important it is, the fact that Charles Leclerc is still alive. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it doesn't have any injuries at all in the first place.
Exactly. Which is the most important thing.
Yeah.
But of course, none of this would have happened if it wasn't for Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah,
I mean,
wow.
Hulk smash.
I mean, it's just, but it's just one of those things. Like
Someone thought they were on an F1 2018 Open lobby.
he didn't do anything stupid like or like dangerous in a sense that he was negligent. He just made a mistake, and unfortunately,
Yeah.
because of the circumstances surrounding it, it caused a massive accident. But it could have happened to anybody. And
Yeah,
you know,
he 100% owned up to it. He said it's my
yeah.
fault. I missed
And-
the
and
braking point.
the penalty is fair because it you know, he did cause a massive accident. He put people's lives at risk, but he didn't
Yeah.
do it on purpose. And you know,
It was
he
a
doesn't.
simple look-up mistake.
It's just what happens, and he's not.
The problem is that La Source is such a slow corner to get around.
Yeah.
It is the slowest on the track, and it isn't even that short of a run up when you come from a bit further behind up to it. So it's a hard braking zone in the end.
And he's not a driver that does anything like that.
and-
You know,
and-
he's a very, very consistent driver.
Yeah, and he's in Alonso's at the end, and that just affects his car to where he couldn't catch it in the end.
Yeah.
In a way he didn't expect it to.
Yeah, it was said by one of the commentators, I think, that it's such a short run to turn one, but because it's so off camber, like, and where the corner is, it's just incident prone every time.
Yeah. Also because it is, as I said, it's a hard braking zone. It is the slowest corner on track.
Mm. And funny enough, one way or another, Hulkenberg took out nearly a quarter of the field.
Yeah, in the end.
He took out himself, Alonso, Leclerc, Ricardo in a way, Raikkonen.
Even though in Danish, I would give props to Magnus because if he hadn't had the start he had, he would maybe been caught up in all that. Like he saved his own ass by having a fantastic start.
Yeah, Gasly also said if he didn't start on the super sauce, he could have been caught up in it as well.
Yeah.
It just shows how many people could have even been more caught up in it.
Yeah, it shows how much damage could have been caused by it all.
Yeah.
I think I read that the estimated cost for all of that is about 3.5 million euros in damages.
Wow.
Well, that's huge.
Exactly.
That's a lot of damage.
Welcome to F1.
Thankfully, Force India weren't involved.
Yeah.
And if they didn't have such a good qualifying, they might have been.
True.
I think Williams is quite happy that they weren't involved as it stands.
Yes.
Although
Yeah.
too, Phil, like even though like as slow as Williams are, they seem to be just about as durable because Sorokin got quite a hit from behind from Bottas, and it's just like he just drove on like nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's like Williams doesn't decide to pull an F1 car, it decides to pull a tank.
Yeah. Maybe it is a tank. Just slow, but really, it can take hits.
Maybe that's.
But I think moving away from the start, and well,
To the
moving away
end.
from the start,
moving away from the start to the end.
Moving up to the end of the first sector, 4 wide. Oh
Well,
boy.
yeah, but you know, like, yeah, but like it's, you know,
I think
like,
Lambrex disagrees how exciting this moment was.
It's not that impressive. Like, it's a cool photo, but like, if Vettel was much quicker than Hamilton, everybody's much quicker than Hamilton on the straight because Hamilton had no slipstream, so it's not an impressive thing. It's a cool photo, but
I discovered something actually through the internet. Apparently, Hamilton only ran 7th gear off the Campbell's right. He didn't even touch 8th. That was the problem he had because for some reason he just didn't. He couldn't get up to the speed required for 8th gear. He just something was wrong with 8th gear because on the Campbell's right, even at the start, he didn't get out to 8th gear. He kept it in 7th.
that's
Maybe
exactly
that's why
right.
he was so vulnerable on the straights.
Definitely would be because it is an entire gear you're missing out on where you can have extra power to use.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
But that pretty much rounds up all the action from Belgium. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
we move on to the
all.
end. Vettel drove away from Hamilton. Hamilton drove away from everybody else, and
Bottas came through like they do in the top cars.
yeah,
There was a little fight between Ericsson and Hartley, and that was about it.
and after the pit stop, Hamilton turned his engine down. So
Yeah.
cool, good.
Thanks. Thanks for all coming.
Is it Vettel's title to lose? That's what one of our pointers says. Absolutely not. It's very much.
I'd say that he has a good chance now because we're going
Well,
to
that's what I was about to say.
where
I wouldn't say it's like directly his, but he has a very good chance.
He has just as much chance as Lewis Hamilton does to win the World
The game is definitely on. Like this is going to be a tight end to the season.
Because we look at it on paper, the Ferrari should probably win every race, but we know that's not going to happen.
No.
Yeah, because we know Ferrari, knowing their ways, can bottle things.
But I mean, well, I don't know about every race. Like, I still see Mercedes probably winning 2 or 3.
I mean, on paper, like they have the quickest car. They've got the best engine, and they've got a better.
I'm not sure the difference in the cars is as big as people are making out for it to be.
It's not that big, but it's still,
So I would add that Mercedes may well win a track like Brazil or Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I think Abu Dhabi Merc will win. I think that's still a merch.
And maybe even a track like Russia, Mercedes might have a chance. high speed, medium speed corners.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's. I think it's just going to be really, really.
I think it's really set up to have a really good finale to the year. Like to have a proper massive title fight between Hamilton and Vettel.
So I mean,
Something we've wanted to see for a while.
Ferrari we were hoping that they don't bottle it like they did last year, and that's the big thing.
Hope their 59p spark plugs can last.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, Vettel's had his one big bottle out of the way for this year, so
Yeah.
the championship would be very different if he didn't do that.
Yeah.
But you know, that's championships for you. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting.
It's not about-
Well,
Shows how
the
much you
race
can
might
swing
not
in
be
one
interesting,
race.
but the overall championship battle might be interesting. Hopefully it will go down to the wire because that's what everybody wants.
Yeah.
Because what was the last time I went to the championship? Like the actually went to the wire really? Like 2014 doesn't count.
2012?
2012 was the last time it really went down to the wire.
Like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's just so long till we've had a proper title battle.
Yeah. Force India.
Yes.
We're rattling
Yeah,
through
that's
quickly
what-
because there really isn't that much to talk about.
Yeah.
We can talk a bit about Force India though because
What a weekend!
I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy for them.
They were days away from like suspicion, like not even starting the race or not even being entered, and then they get like, a second row lockout, and then they get P5 and P6. Like unbelievable.
Just imagine, like Ocon had said he would have needed one more meter to lead a Grand Prix. What a thing that would have been.
Exactly. Ocon takes the lead. That would have been mad. And just like it's just something about Force India and Belgium. They always seem to go well there. Like they always seem to spark there.
Yeah, their car for some reason works very, very well around Spa.
Mm.
But I just love it because they're a team that deserves it so much.
Oh yeah.
All the wonderful people that work up in Silverstone.
Well, Force
to-
India are like that team. They're always that underdog team that punch above their weight. Like, and they're always doing it. They're always ambitious. They're always going for it, and everyone loves them for it.
And they're
It's
also
such a shame to have seen them drop away. Like,
they're
it's very possible.
they're such a nice team as well.
Yeah.
Like their social media is really, really cool, and they're so open and forward, and
Mm.
you know, they're just really lovely people, and they deserve everything that they get. So I'm very, very happy for them. It's interesting to see what their future is going to be. You know,
Yes. There's a lot of speculation about who will be driving for them next season.
I mean,
Because I believe both
there is,
seats are open.
but we know that it's going to be Lance Stroll and
Well, yes.
Perez,
Yes.
Yeah.
and
It
you know,
does seem
I mean,
likely.
yeah, sure. I mean, Stroll isn't as good as Ocon, but if it saves Force India, then I suppose it's a good thing. But like, it's an interesting thing how you balance it because it's whether you weigh up the investment from your owner over like prize money and coming in a certain position in the championship, because it might turn out that Stroll does really, really well, and in a way, let's hope he does. But
Yeah.
because I've sort of had a change of heart. I really like him to be vindicated, but if he doesn't, then this leaves the owner in a tricky position because the owner is his dad,
Yeah.
and I
You
wouldn't
can't then
like
just go, sorry, son, you're fired. It's like, it'd be a bit...
I wouldn't like to be the dad who fires his son.
Yeah. That's going to make family Christmas a bit awkward. It's
Well,
like,
exactly.
So, how's your year been? Just like...
So
oh.
let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope Stroll does well, because
Yeah.
the Force India need him to
Well,
do well.
We don't know all the technicalities of it. We don't know that Stroll's dad is his son's only investor. He's certainly his main
True,
investor.
yeah, true.
But maybe he has like a different sponsor which invests quite a lot. So
To be fair, I think when Stroll gets into the Force India, I think this could be his time to properly like shine, because the Force India is a better car than the Williams he's been driving.
Well,
like,
for
last
him,
season and a half.
it's a very, very. If he's in the car for Monza or Singapore or next year, you know, whenever it is, it's a massive, massive time in his career, because no matter like you know what you should think about it, people are not going to be happy about the fact that he's replacing Ocon. That's just a fact. So he has to prove himself and quickly. Otherwise, he will be very, very, very much disliked by the Formula One community, whether that's right or wrong.
This is going to be like a defining season next season.
Yeah,
because
Absolutely.
we saw when he was teammates with Massa, they had a really good relationship because basically Stroll just learnt from Massa, and Perez he doesn't have the same experience, but he has a lot of experience. Next year he'll have been in F1 for 8 years, so that's going to be really, really helpful for Stroll, and I think he's going to get better through that, because this year he's been terrible because he's had all of the pressure of the team on him, and he hasn't been able to learn anything from Sorokin.
Yeah. He's basically become forced team leader because he's had the most experience.
And
I don't think he's really I think he's kind of struggled with that, having all that pressure of being.
Of course he's not ready to be a team leader. He's 19 for God's sake.
Exactly.
Of course he's not ready, and because unless you're like a driving god like Max Verstappen, who would be ready any time, you need time to develop as a human being to be a team leader.
I think the problem is the Williams has two very, very unexperienced drivers. They have Stroll, who's I think will use a year and a half to it because of the super license system. Don't get me wrong, Jeepers. He's a good driver, but he could use a year and a half too, just like Verstappen.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Well, I'm not. I think there is a significant difference in ability between Stroll and Verstappen. I think Verstappen was ready, and Stroll wasn't ready. I think that's a distinction we can make.
He had a crash fail 2015, which is why DFA changed the super license system.
Well, Verstappen crashed once in Grosjean.
But
Verstappen.
The one reason why they did it because young drivers have a tendency to, FIA is trying to push the super license system. I saw a video about Chimper, if one good YouTuber, go watch him.
Well, and I've seen the video, and I saw, and I do agree with the super license. I think you should be 18 years old, but I disagree with it. I don't think you should be 18 years old. You should be 16 or over, 17 or over. But if you're ready, and Verstappen was ready, then get in there.
Of course, for someone ready, he was super talented. However,
it goes back to that phrase: if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Exactly. That's exactly my thing, and that's my opinion about everything, really. So but Stroll wasn't good enough and wasn't old enough. If he was coming into Formula One next year after winning GP3 and then having a good season in F2, which feasibly could have happened, that would have been great. Because I don't think he's a really bad driver.
No, I don't think he's a bad driver.
He was just forced into a really bad situation.
And if he was replacing Perez, I'd be like, well, that's annoying, but what can you do? But because he's replacing a driver like Ocon, who I think is going to be, one of the top drivers in the coming decade, who is probably going to go on and win races and fight for championships, it does annoy me a little bit. Yeah. It's not Stroll's fault, but it's just Formula One.
It's just how it is.
Ocon's going to be in a team. He's going to be in F1 anyway. It's probably going to be with McLaren, who have recently signed Sainz for next year. I
mean, McLaren, as bad as this year's been for McLaren is a good team to be at.
Yeah.
It is a strong team, and they will come back.
Let's just look at the situation. Yeah, they've had a bad year, but this is they didn't have a lot of time to integrate with the Renault engine. They basically had to force it into the back of the car because they didn't have enough time with it. 2019 will be their first proper year with the Renault engine to get it properly put in the car, packaged well, and it could be a good thing.
And I don't believe that team has forgotten how to make good cars.
No. They obviously have the people.
If they can come out as the fourth or fifth best team, that would be a solid step for them.
They have to be up near Haas, Renault soon.
They have to beat Haas, and they have to be with Renault.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Because Renault and McLaren have to be the teams that make the next step towards the top three.
Yeah.
I think there's too many issues within the team, from a management perspective, that they're going to be competitive.
That is the worry, because obviously
Like, I think the best they could do is probably fifth.
fifth. I mean, well, fifth would be fantastic.
Fifth would be like a very good car.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Renault is gonna try and bridge the gap between the midfield and Red Bull at this point.
Well, yeah. Well, when they picked up Daniel Ricciardo, this is like they're going to start trying to kick forward now. Like this is going to where they really want to start making progress. They've got Daniel Ricciardo, proven race winner. He wants to do something with the team. He's seen the positivity they've done, and he wants to keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's. I think it's a good move.
Yeah.
Like,
Renault are only going up, so.
Plus, there's all the unknowns with Red Bull Honda next year.
Yeah.
Speaking of Red Bull,
well, yeah. No.
Gasly took Ricciardo's spot. I think that's really good for him. He's performed brilliantly this year. Like,
yeah, he's more than ready. He's definitely worthy of that seat.
I believe he's only the fourth driver to go from Toro Rosso to Red Bull. Vettel, Ricciardo, Verstappen, and Gasly.
Gasly, or Kvyat.
Kvyat 5. Yeah.
So he doesn't really count.
We all forget the meme.
Yeah, I mean Gasly a far better choice than Sainz in terms of team harmony, and a far better choice than Alonso. Although I don't believe that was a choice. I think that's a load of bullshit made up by the king of bullshit, Fernando Alonso.
Yeah,
and he's gone.
I think it's all like take Alonso, Horner, and Lauda in one team, and you've got basically the ultimate shitstirring team in the world.
Well, I don't know about Lauda. I think he sometimes he shit stirs, but like
Lauda just says it straight. Like
he speaks a lot of sense. He's an experienced man.
He just says what's on his mind. Like if he thinks about it, he's gonna say it. Like he doesn't care.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
But as I mentioned, Alonso is gone.
Yeah.
Not to say it badly, but thank God.
I know
he was however much he's a good guy and one of the best who's been in F1. Like I know he calls himself Mr. 9.5, which is just wrong. But over the last couple of years, it's just become so annoying with all the moaning and whinging. Like it's just stop.
Yeah, he just moans and whinges and like.
Like I know you've not got the car you want, but at least try and be positive to help the team move forward.
And he's also nowhere near as good as he thinks he is.
That is, yeah.
I think Alonso's work is stop trying to be a specialist driver, like F1 driver, IndyCar driver, NASCAR driver.
And yeah, he could win a Triple Crown. He probably will. But
But honestly, I think Alonso's going to try and revive the all-round driver genre of drivers.
But he's never.
That's his goal at this point.
In terms of like his generation of drivers, he will never ever be on the level of Hamilton and Vettel. And he's on a par with Raikkonen, Button, Webber.
Yeah, like tier 2.
Because maybe he has the talent to be up there with Vettel and Hamilton in terms of his ability, but Formula 1 is about more than ability.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel are 4-time world champions, because they got into the right team at the right time and they work with the team properly.
And they basically love the singers behind them at this point.
Here's the difference. Alonso has a bad race, he complains about it and whinges all over team radio. Hamilton and Vettel have a bad race, they still see the positives and try and big the team up. Come on, guys, we can fight back after this.
That's what I say. After every like bad race for Vettel and Hamilton, it's like, especially Hamilton, because I always watch his interviews because he's my favorite driver. He's saying, it was a tough race. I made a mistake, or like we had troubles with the car, but still thanks to the team, they did a great job. We'll come back from this. We'll improve. Alonso's always like, oh, well, the engine isn't good enough, and the team isn't giving me the best car, and
that will always be the defining difference that stopped Alonso becoming one of the greats.
Take a guy like Vettel. Vettel has multiple times been seen at 11 p.m. At night helping take down stuff in the garage. So him and his mechanic either could go home so they could go home early, either to party or to go through stuff. Like he's there for his team. just like Hamilton is, and it's it's what sets them apart, really.
Yeah.
I think we should get back to the Belgian Grand Prix because
which did happen.
Which did happen, although I have already forgotten it.
I remember the first sector, and then I don't remember anything else.
we will do a race ratings, and then it is time for a Lambrex rant special.
Yes. I bet everyone was excited for this.
One thing when we came into it earlier. Who the hell is Toro Rosso gonna sign?
Probably Lando Norris. Okay, done, solved, right.
The thing is, I've seen multiple names. I've seen Norris, I've seen Tixon, I've seen...
Tixon can't.
Tixon can't get super license points, so that's a no.
Tixon has 2 super license points in his stands. If he wins the year 23, he won't get 30, which is 30, that's not enough.
Yeah, he can't.
So Tixon is already ruled out.
It's going to be Lando Norris. It's the only driver that it can be.
Yeah, I actually seen an expert, Danish engineer, who thinks it will be Tixon, even though he can't. Physically.
What a great expert.
Race ratings.
Lambrex, do you want to take control of this bit, seeing as this is your
I am the race ratings king. Daniel Harris, go ahead.
3 out of 10. I give the first sector 9 out of 10. I give the rest 1 out of 10.
Lewis Bromby.
I don't know. 4, 3, 2. I can't remember the race.
2 out of 10. Like the first sector was probably 10 out of 10, really. Except for the whole look thing.
It would have been a 10 if Ocon had taken the lead.
Geordie.
Yeah, no, not higher than a 5.
Not higher than a 5. That's very.
To be honest, 5 is quite ambitious.
That's kind. Now.
I mean, Verstappen could have podium.
It's time to enter the rant.
It's now time for the bit you've all been waiting for. It's another Lambrex rant. I think it's our 3rd edition.
It is our 3rd edition. And
Lambrex, take it away.
I haven't ever given a race rating in the 1.5 seasons that we've done that's been lower than 1. The Belgian Grand Prix.
We're gonna go lower.
The Belgian Grand Prix gets
we're gonna make history, lads.
It gets a 0 out of 10.
Oh boy.
None. There's an article on the F1 Agenda blog. I was fortunate enough to go on a guided tour of Spa-Francorchamps, and I was walking around the track, and I've been there, and it's an incredible place, and I've seen many, many races from many different formulas and series on that racetrack. It is the greatest racetrack on the planet. No ifs, no buts. It is the greatest racetrack on the planet. And when the greatest show on Earth, Formula 1, turns up to the greatest racetrack on Earth, it should be incredible. And that was pathetic. Utterly pathetic. And there are so many problems with Formula 1 that become abundantly clear when you give Formula 1 a normal race. Because all of the good races we've had so far this season have had outside factors, whether it's be rain or like a driver crashing, like an incident between 2 of the top drivers, whether it's been mechanical problems for a car or whatever that's changed the race. When you give Formula 1 a normal race, that's when this season everything falls apart. The tyres are too hard. The main reason, the first reason why that race was so terrible was because there was only 1 stop. If there was more than 1 stop, all of a sudden Hamilton has a chance to go on a different strategy, to try and get back that position. Maybe go long and then put some tyres on at the end. Maybe Vettel is caught out because because Hamilton gets to do 2 undercuts instead of 1. All these sorts of things. So without more than 1 stop, you lose so much variety. Number 2, DRS is ridiculously overpowered. None of these overtakes were even close. Like you were past. Like by the time you exited Eau Rouge, like even Max Verstappen in a Red Bull, he overtook Perez 100 meters after Radion. like it's just ridiculous. And then like, you know, and then of course you could see visibly when Hamilton was behind Vettel after the safety car restart and the first pit stop, he lost so much time middle sector, and yeah, a little bit of that is just the Ferrari's a better car, but dirty air still played a massive role. And when you've got dirty air in that sector, you're basically cutting off the third sector in terms of overtaking is gone because you can't get close enough. So overall, an awful race, which in any other season like before 2014 would have been like an average race. You know, there would have been some strategy and all that good stuff, and all I ask for is strategy, something to get you interested. Because I know there can't always be action. It's like any sport. Not every match or race can be massively full of action. But if you get strategy and you get layers to the race, and it's interesting, and that's all it should be at the bare minimum, is interesting. And that wasn't interesting. And to do that to the greatest track on earth is a disgrace. And it is nothing to do with the racetrack. And you can't use that excuse. So Formula One has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, agree. Like, just putting it on this side, if we had 2 stops, let's just throw out Vettel does super soft. Hamilton does super soft, and can catch at the end.
Exactly.
That would be in. Maybe he doesn't pass him. Maybe he only.
Maybe he doesn't, but you don't know.
Or something behind. But if he's catching, that creates tension. Going always catching.
Exactly. It's all about the tension. Because you don't know if he's going to catch him.
And then you'll think about if there's 2 stops, you get two undercuts. I mean, we saw how powerful the undercut was.
Exactly.
Like, in the race, Hamilton went from like 3 seconds behind to about 1 second.
But then you could say maybe, you know, Hamilton does what you said, Vettel does what you said, and then Verstappen maybe tries a 1 stop, and all of a sudden he's into play.
Exactly.
He's going to be slow, but can he defend? You get all this variety.
Track position with the 2 fast cars coming on quicker tyres.
Exactly, and in a normal race where you didn't have half of the top 6 taken out, all of a sudden that becomes even more exciting.
Like you just say, even with Verstappen, like even the Force Injuries could then try 1 stop. They could have got in the mix. Exactly. Like the Force Injuries could have split like the Ferrari and the Mercedes, or the Red Bull, and then maybe a following Ferrari.
That's it.
Like, that would have made the race so much more interesting, but because it's a 1 stop, you're just sat there going, well, I mean, they're just going to go to the end now, aren't they? Like. I mean, I believe Hamilton can't get close enough. He's just going to turn the engine down. And I do believe
I have read that Pirelli are making softer tyres for next year, or like in the future, which means we are going to return to more towards 2012, 2013 levels of degradation, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
I want to see 2 to 3 stops per race, really. I think
at least 2 stops, like
2. Yeah, because I think it should be on some tracks, you know, because there obviously going to be differences, but you know. Maybe probably 2, but you could do a 1. Some tracks probably 2.
Yeah, those
but maybe,
kind of races make it more exciting.
But or it could be like definitely 2, but you could do a 3 if you want to go quickly.
Exactly.
So that you know, because I remember all the time, you know, you'd have like some drivers going on a 2 stop, and then maybe a driver that's more aggressive does 3 stops with 2 faster tires, and you get different strategies all converging at the end. It's tension.
Yeah, I used this example back when we did the Canadian Grand Prix about the 2012 Canadian GP race when you had Hamilton on a 2 and Vettel and Alonso on a 1, and how exciting that was of Hamilton just gaining 2 seconds a lap, just getting closer. Like if that, then we saw in 2018, like it was all 1 stop and nothing happened. Like that, let's just compare the 2 stop, the possible 2, and then the 1 stop in 2012, and then what happened in 2018. They are poles apart.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just. How we've got to here, it's just wrong.
It is.
But I think that rounds up our rant.
That does round up my rant.
Oh, go ahead, Jeebus.
What's that, Jeebus?
That was certainly a rant.
I am obviously. I'm a fiercely proud half Belgian, so
that is the most ranty rant we've had so far.
So I don't like it when my Grand Prix gets ruined.
Yeah.
because I always look forward to the Belgian Grand Prix. But I do recommend going to Spa if you ever find yourself in Belgium. Go for free. You can literally go for free. You can watch any cars that go around the track. You can walk around the track. Go to Eau Rouge and go up the top of the hill and walk to the Com and all that stuff. It's a fantastic place. But anyway, driver of the day. Can there be a driver of the day?
I'm struggling to find someone here.
I really can't think of anybody.
I'm going for Charlotte Leclerc's halo.
I suppose. Yeah.
I'm gonna go for Sergei Sorokin.
Yeah.
To be honest, that is not a bad shout.
It's not a bad shout.
Either that or Perez or one of the other, or Ocon.
Yeah, driver of the day. I'd probably give my driver of the day to like Perez.
Perez, yeah.
Because literally not much happened.
And Vettel did a very good job as well.
I mean, Vettel just drove the car around the track 44 times.
I mean, you can't give it to Bottas because that's what you expect for a car like that.
Yeah, like Vettel. I mean,
expect the car
I'm surprised
ahead of everyone else.
If Bottas didn't crash into Sorokin early on, then he would have got third.
But I mean, anybody out of like Vettel, Hamilton, Verstappen, Perez. I mean, they all just drove their car around the track 44 times.
Well, no, they just chilled out. Like
maybe we should just give it to Hulkenberg for giving us some action.
You know what? Driver of the day goes to Jason Plato.
Why?
Because he's a fantastic driver.
Yeah, but he's doing shit in BTCC.
He is.
We do that on the blog. Go check it out.
We do that on the blog.
I write about it. Hi.
You do.
I don't even know what that is.
You don't know who Jason Plato is?
No.
He's like one of the legends of BTCC.
Two-time British Touring Car World Championship.
To be honest, I don't really give a shit about BTCC.
Well,
at least one of us does.
I love BTCC. It's fantastic racing. Far more exciting than Formula One, anyway.
Seconded, but
I mean, you don't watch Formula E, so.
I mean, I tried to watch one race of Formula E. I mean, it was actually worse than the Belgian Grand Prix.
It wasn't that bad. Alright, can I just say, you say that the Belgian Grand Prix was 0. It wasn't as bad as Monaco last year.
I can't remember Monaco last year.
It was the one with Benson in.
Was it worse than Russia?
Okay, that's the only thing. Oh, the one where he's peeing against the. Yeah, okay.
Russia. Russia was worse.
Okay. Maybe I'd have given a couple of those 0 out of 10s. I've grown up a lot since last year.
I think Russia got a 1, so I don't think that much different.
Okay.
Russia this year is going to be awful.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much point in watching.
But let's hope that Monza next week isn't awful. Although I get the feeling it might be.
There.
I get the feeling it might be because I think Ferrari are going to be extremely dominant.
We're going to get a Grazie Ragazzi.
We're going to get a massive Grazie Ragazzi.
You're just going to see one red cloud above Monza if Ferrari wins.
I think we'll get a very good midfield fight.
Hopefully.
The thing is, Ferrari is wanting. It has wanted this victory at Monza for so long at this point.
We should get a good fight between Sauber, Force India, and Haas.
You know, Monza's always a sad race weekend for me because it signifies the end of many things. Because it's the end of the
end of the European season.
It's the end of the European season, and I always prefer the European season because it's the better racetracks. And it also it's the end of summer and it's the the start of school and Monza's just
everything bad just starts happening after.
Yeah, Monza's just it's just
God damn it, Monza.
I know.
Yeah, I get
just
that.
Give us a good race.
It's last year at the end of the race. I felt this real sadness.
And I was well, I mean it's going to be winter soon and school starting again and
Yeah, and even the championship died after Monza because they screwed up in Singapore. So
it's a sad race because it's a fantastic track.
But let's hope
it's a sad situation.
It perhaps gives us a good race this year. So we shall move on to the final bit of our predictions for Monza.
All we're going to get at Monza is going to be Daniel Ricciardo dive bombing everyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our predictions. Thanks for watching.
I'll start with my predictions just to get it out of the way. Vettel, move on.
Vettel, here. Thank you.
Yep. I've got a feeling this is going to be a trend.
Ericsson.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
What a race that would be. Hartley and
Kubica.
Hartley.
Oh, speaking of
On the
people,
power for the win.
just quickly speaking of people, speaking of Ericsson, and there's only 11 drivers now left in the with a mathematical chance of winning the championship.
What a
Okay,
shame.
that
is good to
I was
know.
just so hoping for Brendan Hartley to win.
But considering we
the
started the
biggest
season
comeback.
considering we started the season with only 2 drivers that could win the world championship, it was, you know,
That's kind of impressive. I've jumped up to 11.
yeah, actually, that's,
But
Well
that's
done,
no,
F-
not
well
that.
done, F1.
I said they mathematically have a chance, not that they have an actual chance.
oh no, there was only 2 that had a mathematical chance. Believe me. And with that,
Dear God. Yeah,
Can I say-
basically, just to round up the predictions,
everybody says Vettel.
it's all Vettel. This is going to be the easiest tweet I've ever done.
Actually, no, I'm gonna go left field and I'm gonna annoy you. I'm gonna say Hamilton's gonna get pole.
I mean, he might if it
so
rains.
much.
If it rains, he might do.
Oh, like Monza,
Is
little
it
shit.
gonna rain?
It's like more information in 15
I don't know if
minutes.
it's going to rain.
If
It might
Stroll
do.
could get another front row, I'd
Oh.
be very happy.
In the Force
I
India.
can imagine.
Yeah.
No, for saying yes.
I mean, Magnussen.
Yeah, it's
Magnussen
probably
gets
not.
pole.
Okay, I think we've gone a bit left field now.
We have gone a bit left
I
field.
think,
So
I think
let-
to be fair, as we've gone so far left field, we've actually left the field.
So let well, no, we haven't yet. So let us leave the field by
Let us
Right.
run to the field of wheat and let us go.
Can I say
Leave.
like 2-3 final words?
Oh,
Well, first of all, get Will Wickens after his horrifying crash at Pocono, and get Will
Yes.
Tito Rabat after his after his crash at Silverstone.
Yes, and
I-
also,
I would like-
the continuing recovery of Nicky Lauda.
yes, continue to get better, Nicky Lauda.
I would
Yes.
like to add a special shout out to Alex Zanardi, who finished 5th on his DTM debut.
No,
Being 10 years old
race.
and
Second
everyone
race.
else.
It was the second race.
Oh yeah, it's debut weekend.
Then you-
And I know this happened a couple of weeks ago, but also shout out Jamie Chadwick for winning a race in the
Yes.
what was it, British Formula
Formula
Three?
3, yeah.
British Formula 3. I watched that
Yeah.
race live. She was amazing. Well done to her. She's the first ever female driver to win a British Formula 3 race, which isn't important because it doesn't matter what her gender is, but it's still a huge achievement.
It's still a great achievement.
it doesn't matter what her gender is, but it's important that our agenda is F1.
Yes, our agenda is F1. Agenda,
Apart from on the blog where we do other things.
Also-
agenda equality.
Also,
Just
congratulations to
stop
Rebellion
recording.
for actually beating the Toyotas. Technically.
Oh goddamn, that's not F1.
Anyway.
And congratulations
up.
to Felipe Massa for being an idiot.
Oh, for crying bloody loud. Anyway, thanks for watching.
And
If you
shout out
enjoyed-
to WTF1 for
Jesus
ruining.
Christ!
Shout out to WTF1 for ruining F1 Twitter.
Does
this
anyone else want
weekend.
to shout out?
No, stop before you all get muted.
shout out to my mom for putting me on this.
Oh, actually,
Yeah,
no,
I'd like to thank
genuinely.
all my family, my friends.
No, I have an actual shout out. Genuinely, shout out to the F1
Oh, this is the
squad.
last one.
Shout out to the
This is
F1 squad that
last one.
went to Spa this weekend for the Grand Prix, Arrow, etc. They were really awesome, giving us insight on Twitter, and I was speaking to like Sam Carpenter about it, and you know, giving us updates and stuff, and it was just good to get an insight again what it's like to be a Grand Prix. Thanks to them. Goodbye.
I didn't
Right.
experience any of that, but
Great.
sure.
Right, finally, everyone shush.
You shush. Don't tell me to shush.
Oh, shut up.
Oh no.
Trying to end
You shut
it.
up.
Just end it.
I'm
Jesus,
trying!
quality.
Right. Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed watching, like, subscribe,
What?
follow us on Twitter. I'm trying to end it here.
Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed watching,
Right now, no, that's it. Goodbye.
goodbye.
Bye.
Just follow the links in the description. Go away.
Like, dislike. Bye.
No.